Alright everybody, what is going on? Needs more drums back in our city of Stay Movensburg. I almost said Percussion, but it is Stay Movensburg. We'll get back to Percussion soon. I'm just trying to get this kind of done, because this is a little bit of a shorter series. But yeah, in the last episode, we built our couple of ports here. So we have a little cruise ship terminal here, which is the vanilla cruise ship plus ferry terminal. So that'll be really useful for us down the road. And we have our cargo port over here with some industry surrounding the area. Not super detailed yet, but I'll probably detail this up some other time, off camera or whatever. But I wanted to let the zones develop a little bit, and I'm more concerned again with just kind of building this and utilizing the public transit rather than actually spending time on all the details. I was trying to have a little bit of fun with the game for once before City Skylines 2 comes out, which, by the way, if you haven't seen yet, I know this video is probably coming out a little bit later than I would hope to be talking about this, but the trailer for City Skylines 2 is out. I did a video that kind of explains, some of the features that I noticed and some of the things that I'm really excited for. Some features that are kind of the same as City Skylines 1, but some features that are actually completely new and are things that the community has kind of been asking for. So really excited for that. It comes out, the game is set to come out October 24th, I believe, of this year, which is a pretty quick release date, given that they just announced the game a couple months ago and now they already have a gameplay trailer, and now they're already talking about a confirmed release date that's only about 4 months away. So super excited for that. Another reason to get this done and get all ready for City Skylines 2. Want to get my series kind of wrapped up as best I can before the release of that game. But anyway, back to the relevant topic for today. We have our next form of public transport that I have been waiting for. I've been pretty excited for this one. It is trains. Today we're going to do some trains and get all the stations placed, hopefully get a central station placed. I don't have the best idea of what I want to do for the central station yet, but I also did just download the Railroads of Japan content creator pack, so I have some additional stations and everything to work with, and I'm excited to look at that. Excited to look at some of the transit hubs and the other terminals that we got in that DLC a little while ago. So yeah, we got a lot of options, and actually probably a lot more than we need, but we'll figure it out and go from there. So to start, what I want to do first is, this is going to be pretty much just a live play as we put down some of the stations. So let's just get started and start building. All right, so what I want to do first is kind of show, as I built the city, I kind of left some areas that I thought you would need a train station kind of close by. So obviously this cruise ship port here, this is a good spot for one. I actually thought about putting one here. I know like these two would be really close. I thought about putting one here before I built this, so I'm wondering what to do about that. I don't know if I'll end up building one or not, but we'll see. Although one here might better serve this residential area, although they could probably just take a bus or some other form of public transit to this station. So we'll see in a minute. But I do want to put one there. I want to put one, a passenger station actually over here by this industry. So where I'm from, there's actually a passenger station by an industrial area to kind of get people to that industrial area, or to get people, from the surrounding residential areas downtown into the city. And so since I don't really have a good spot to put one anywhere else, like for this area, that would be a good way for people to drive over a short distance over here from these neighborhoods, go here, park, and then they can take the train all the way downtown. So I do have 2 lines going downtown, and actually now that I'm looking at it, I'm not sure that I need this one anymore. I built this here kind of as a placeholder because I thought I might have something come around, like this way or something. But now it looks, since I connected these two up and this line just goes straight through here like this, I don't even need this line anymore. And rather than building this eyesore of a train line that's going to be high and elevated and, trying to connect it here, I think I'm just going to get rid of this. And again, we'll, detail this up and put those zones down later. But for now, yeah, I think that's a lot better, having just one train line kind of coming down into the city. I don't assume it's going to be super busy, but I'll probably be wrong. We'll see. I might need to add, I don't know if I'll need to add a double track here or something and, use some more space with 2 lines coming in. But again, we will see and cross that bridge if we get there. But yeah, since kind of have an idea of where I want to put some of these stations, I'm going to save the central station for last, but let's just go ahead and put down some of these smaller ones to start, since I already know where I want to put them. But yeah, so this is kind of a small space, and so I want to be conscious of the station that we choose for this area. And I'm wondering if I should. I just want, you know, one track, very simple. Some of these are pretty intense, like this ground island one. That's obviously too big for what we're looking for. Something like this could work, but I don't need the parking lot. We don't really have the space for that. Can't go elevated. We need to have a ground station. I don't want to do a historical station there. Stadium station, no. This one looks pretty promising. This railroad to Japan, small ground station. I like that a lot. I think that's going to be the winner. And I know that we're a little bit tight for space here, but what I can do is drag, move this road here so that we have some space to put it, because this is quite a small spot to work with. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this for now. Let's just see what kind of space we have. Yeah, so I know this is not very ideal in terms of design. It's a little bit too tight of a turn, but you know what? I think we're just gonna have to deal with it. Probably just gonna have to take it slow through there, if anything. So not super worried about that. And I actually might need to bump this out a little bit more, since, as you can see, it's kind of colliding with the building here. That should be okay. I'm trying to get it right where these pillars are kind of in between these tracks, so the train can kind of come under there like that. I think that would look kind of cool. So yeah, we're gonna keep it like that for now. And there's station 1 all set up and ready to go. And then again, we could just kind of take this road, maybe connect it. Actually, we could connect it to there, here, and there, like that. And there we go. Station 1's ready to go. So we'll keep that there for now. Move on to the next one. The next station that I want to do is down here in this eco neighborhood. I feel like this would be a good place for it. People can probably access the university, and I'm actually going to think about putting it, if I could fit one here, it would be very, very ideal. And I might, again, this might be kind of small. I might have to move this city block out of the way. But, at least I plan on putting something here. So this would be a good kind of little transit hub for this area. So let's go ahead and see, again, what kind of options we have. I don't want to use the vanilla one. I want to use something a little bit different. And for this one, I might actually try to get away with that ground bypass station. I could move it a little bit to bump some of these buildings out of the way a little bit, and, bring that parking lot maybe more into the road. So let's just out of curiosity, let's just see kind of what it would look like if we were to use that one. Actually, that's not a terrible fit, besides this part kind of creeping into the road there. But I think we can do a little bit of work, make this fit quite nicely in this area. Yeah, so we're just going to go with this for now. And then, like I said, I'll come back and detail that up a little bit later. Probably bring this out, everything out this way a little bit more, give it some more room. But yeah, just to get everything functioning, we're just going to leave that there. I think that type of station looks really, really nice there. I'm going to like that. That's cool. Cool station, and really fits the area really well. So yeah, so we got that one, we got this one. And now let's go over to this line here. And again, I kind of want to leave a little bit of space between them, so I don't actually think I'm going to put one here, because I could access this with another form of public transit, most likely. So we'll leave that. Out for now, since we have this one right here. And we'll actually put one. I have this empty spot right here that might be pretty good for some type of station. So let's go ahead. And actually, I wonder if this could be a good spot to make this elevated, because we have this road here right into the industry. So yeah, because we have these roads, here and here, there's not a whole lot of intersections for trucks to enter. Although, you want to limit the number of intersections that you have, because that just typically creates more congestion. But it would be nice to have a few more, especially maybe even putting one here, where this people come off the expressway. So either way, though, that'll give us some options. So we can elevate, I think starting from here, we can elevate this train line and then put some kind of elevated train station over here, take up this space. So yeah, let's go ahead and elevate this real quick. these power lines would be an issue, but it actually looks like they're just high enough to not have to collide with the, with this train line. So what I can do though is bump this a little bit over this way, and that looks a little bit better like that. So cool. So we have this elevated train line, and I wanted to keep it elevated kind of over this avenue to eliminate that crossing there. So if I could actually start to elevate it, just bump this node back a little bit here, and actually I could remove this road. I'd rather remove that road connection, and then I can make, sort of a dead end street there, but at least now I can elevate this here. Those it was saying it was too high there for those power lines, so I'm gonna have to fix that in a minute. But just for now, I think this will work just fine. And I know that slope might be a little bit steep for a train, but I think we're gonna have to just work with it for now, since that's kind of the best we can do in this area. So that offers plenty of room there for these power lines to go over the train line, so that is no longer an issue. Yeah, and now for this little train station that I have in mind, I know we have some great elevated ones in some of these packs here. So let's just kind of go through them and see. So we have this elevated bypass one. That one could definitely work. We have this dual island platform, which I think is a little bit big for what we need, even though it does have a nice parking lot, which we could actually use that. But let's see what else we have. I don't know. I'm just kind of liking the small metros, the small elevated station, because then we could actually go ahead and design sort of our own parking lot with some of the parking lots that we have access to. So actually I'm gonna probably just use this one for now. And since this is also a freight line here, I do want to have a some type of bypass, so we don't have to worry about the freight trains actually going through the train station, even though City Skylines, they probably will anyway. But just for good measure, I'd rather not have that happen. And then these power lines, actually, we can make these come this way and follow the train line, in parallel here. Make use of that kind of wasted space rather than taking up this space with some of those high tension power lines. I'm actually super happy with how that turned out. So yeah, so we'll leave this like this, and then we'll have a little entrance here, and then we can actually put in a little bit of parking. If you really want to, we could actually have a second entrance like that. That way that will allow people to just kind of come through and get to the train station pretty quickly. And even better, what we could do is make this a one-way road. So now, it kind of allows for a better traffic flow here, and then people can kind of just come in, get to their stop, and then just keep going around if they need to. But that will make everything a little bit easier. There's a nice little bit of parking there, and then actually right here we could have some commercial buildings. So that way people can, from the industry, you can maybe have a place close by to, eat. Maybe there's some restaurants here. People can kind of come off the train station and have access to that. And then I'll detail this up a little bit later, but at least we got the gist of it for now. So yeah, so that's looking pretty good for now. And then the last spot that I want to do a train station. So we have one there, airport over here. And the last spot that I would really like to build one is over in this part right here. And so the reason that I want to do it is I want to talk about something called transit-oriented development. So essentially, transit-oriented development is, I'm no urban planner, but from what I understand, is it is the kind of the science behind, making like destinations in urban planning. So what I mean by that is, if you build a train station, obviously you're going to have a lot of people that are going to come through that area. It's going to be a high volume, transport area of your city. So what you want to do is build appropriate infrastructure around it. And, you tend to see more of a grid-like road system. You tend to see, some higher density buildings. And so when you develop based on the volume of public transit that you have places that are easy for people to access, places that people don't need to take cars, to drive everywhere. You have somewhere where people could just get right off the train and kind of have everything they need, whether it be apartment buildings, shops, that kind of thing. So when I like to design my train stations and, think about designing my cities, I like to think about, okay, if this rail line, assuming it was kind of the first thing that would have been in a city was, obviously like rail and some dirt roads, and those dirt roads turned into, bigger roads, and then eventually like highways, and then you have your rail lines. Rail lines kind of form the main first, transport routes of a city, and they don't really change too much over time, whereas roads are a little bit more subject to change. But you can go back and see, like over time, hundreds of years where the rail, maybe not hundreds, but you know what I mean, where rail lines kind of laid the groundwork for some of those areas. And again, like when I'm talking about transit oriented development, those places around big train stations are the ones that kind of got built up the most. So when you look at places like that, you think, okay, if there's a train station here, this could be a cool little like boom town over here, have a little bit of development there. And then same with, for example, something like this, okay, this may have been an industrial area in the past with like a lot of rail access, and now it serves as a passenger connection. And eventually, a central station, obviously that'll be a pretty big area, and that's why a lot of downtowns, are built right by a central train station, because historically people would very frequently visit those areas via the train, and they couldn't really go too far after that because they didn't have cars. So having a very dense area close to a big transport hub like that, it really, really helps to, develop the city and create a more higher density area. So with that being said, I do want to make a train station here, and actually here I want to make a cool little historical town. So I am going to use this historical train station that we have from the resorts content creator pack, that historical resorts and everything. And I think this should be a good spot for it, like right there. Yeah, no, that's kind of cool, because now we have an area where we can actually make some development and kind of put a little town over here that will kind of expand out into this area and make use of some of this empty space. So yeah, so I think that is pretty good right now in terms of where I want to put the train stations. And, before I detail them up, I'll probably do that, in a minute. But what I want to do now is actually just make sure that they all could function. So let's go ahead and, oh, you know what? I actually forgot the central station. So I can't forget that. So what I wanted to make for the central station was I wanted to put some kind of transport hub and kind of make it the central station. Nothing super big. Obviously the city is pretty scaled down, so there's no use for a massive, something like this obviously isn't going to be needed, especially since we only have one line coming in, and I want to have some different forms of public transit that people can use to get around the city. So what I'm thinking of is maybe something like, I know they have this kind of monorail hub with with trains in it. This metro train monorail hub. And I know that I probably won't use the elevated metro system too much, but at least we can make use of the underground one. I think this might be a good one to use, just because it kind of checks all the boxes. We have train, we'll have monorail, we'll definitely have trams around here. So yeah, I think this one is probably going to be the winner in terms of a central station. And I think it would, we have this. It also has a road connection, which I'll see how we go about using that. But I think it'll be quite useful if we have all of this kind of in one area here. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one down there. Yeah, so that's really cool. This is actually a tram road. So that'll be really, really helpful for us to lay the groundwork for some future infrastructure. We can actually do that now by just connecting up one of these tram roads to, I don't know if we necessarily need the 4 lanes, but just for now, why not? And actually this will probably work out better than I thought. This will be a really nice transit hub for us to use. And we do have 2 different train platforms that we can make use of as well. So we do have a ground one and an elevated one, and the monorail connects right there too. So yeah, so this will actually be perfect. I'm very excited to use this. I've never actually used any of these bigger transport hubs yet, so this is a good time to do it. I'm trying to figure out the best way to make use of this ground platform. I think we can get it tall enough to be able to use like this make a bridge Well, let's do the elevated one first, though. I want to make, so first of all, I built this pedestrian crossing, and I think for now I'm going to have to remove this, and I'm actually just going to make it just a ground connection, because we can elevate this train line. I mean, I know it's not the most attractive bridge in the world, but you know what? If it works, it works. And sometimes, you know, things don't always look super great, but I mean, as long as they function. I know, you know, for example, like in Chicago, we have some areas that, like, there's a triple decker train track where it's you know, the L, or like the freight train, and then the elevated, you know, the L, we call it, you know, it's like the elevated metro, but we call it the L. Where yeah, you know, they're kind of all stacked on top of each other, and again, it doesn't look the best, but it is extremely functional and makes use of kind of the, you know, the same space for one thing. So I'm a big fan of that. That's looking pretty good. Nice smooth slope. We have our connections here, and then we'll make more use of this in future episodes when we tackle some of the other forms of public transit. But for now, I think that is going to look really, really good, and I'm actually pretty excited for what we're going to be doing with some of this. And I know, you know, it would be nice though if we were able to convert these some of these metro, like this elevated metro track, to a train track, and then have two, you know, we could have 3 different platforms. But I don't have the mod. You actually need them. I think it's part of Metro Overhaul mod where you're able to do that, but I'm not going to worry about that now, you know, because I'm trying to play a little bit more vanilla. So if we don't use the platforms, then we don't use the platforms. Like, it's fine. It is what it is, and we'll make it work, you know. But better have it and not need it than need it and not have it, as I always say. So that'll work out just fine for now. But yeah, so now that we have all of our stations set, let's go ahead and actually set some lines, which is something that I also haven't done in a long time. And so I'm thinking for now, I want to have 2 lines. So I want to have one line that kind of goes and follows, you know, this track to the airport, and then another line that follows this track out to these towns over here. So let's get started with this airport line first, and we'll have that one start off of this ground platform here. So that one's done, and now we'll go ahead and have this one come all the way this way. No, it's quite a ways without a stop over here, but I couldn't really think of a good place to put a train station over here. And we'll reach this area with some other forms of public transit, so I'm not super worried about that. And so for now we have 2 train lines, and what I'm going to do is actually change the color, so we'll have kind of like the you know, little blue line, and then we'll also have a green line. Nice color for that. Another cool thing is we have so many different types of, well, I shouldn't say so many, we have 5, but either way it's better than 1. We have some additional types of trains that we could use. So, you know, for example, this express train going to the airport, I don't really think I want to use that one. I think for the blue line we're going to have this 200, well, actually no, because since this one is a little bit more kind of in the city and hit some more of the high density parts, I kind of think this one might be pretty good. One of the new Railroads of Japan train. I kind of like the look of that, actually. I've seen it kind of cruising around, and I'm a big fan of it. So, and then for the second one, we'll actually just use this more kind of commuter. I guess this is, you know, technically called the commuter one, but this one will use like kind of the more long distance style train, since these stations are a little bit more few and far between. You know, there's some pretty significant distance between some of these. I'm liking that. I'm liking that a lot. So we're going to keep that for now. So yeah, so that is going to be all set up. And one thing that I do want to do, I'm actually going to go ahead and press play here and just kind of let some of these function. But what I do want to do is make sure that we're not like any inner city trains. I kind of just want them to go, I don't know if I want them to really go to any of these stations over here. I mean, especially not, since this is probably where they're going to be coming from here. I got to find the, oh, this, okay. So if they're going to be coming from here, I definitely don't want them to come here. And I really don't want them to go anywhere else either. So I think I'm just going to delete this inner city train setting for all of these, because I don't want inner city trains here. I want them to go to Central Station because it's the Central Station. So we're going to leave that for now, kind of let it run. And yeah, and I'm gonna, now that we got them built, why don't I just go ahead and jump into a very quick time lapse and just detail up some of these areas ever so slightly. Put some trees, put some pathways, kind of make sure everything fits. In the case of this one, for example, we got a little bit of work to do, but nothing that Move It can't solve. So yeah, I'll go ahead and jump in and do some detailing, and then chat with you guys in a bit. All right, guys, just got done detailing up some of the train stations. Let's go ahead and take a look at kind of what we've done. So I didn't actually want to do anything really to this one yet because I wanted to wait and see how we develop this area, if we're going to add any more, different types of stations or anything for any different types of networks, which I definitely think that we are. So I wanted to leave this pretty open for now, and then we'll kind of work with this area as we progress through the series. But I did do a little work, to some of these bridges and a few different spots around the city. Actually, I kind of worked off camera and fixed up some bridges, fixed up some heights and stuff. So we'll see that. Just pay attention as we keep building, and you'll kind of see some of the areas like this one here. I raised this bridge up quite a bit because the cruise ships weren't fitting under it. I forgot to adjust it for those heights, and since the port is right here, I had to fix that. So just kind of elevated all this a little bit more. Now it's just this massive highway bridge. And I'm trying to think if there's a way to make this like a suspension bridge type. I know that you could do it with the highway bridge, but I can't really figure out how to do it by just upgrading it. So I think I might have to re-drag out the road. And I also know it doesn't like look very good, so this might be a little bit better for now. But this is that highway viaduct, one of the DLCs with the I forget what it was, like a content creator pack or something that had some bridges and things in it. So I'm gonna leave it like this for now. I think that looks okay, but I'll come back to that later maybe and change it up if I need to. But yeah, so we didn't do anything with that station. Jumping over here, we did a little bit of just light detail here. Added this little parking lot back here for some of these commercial buildings. Obviously they have the parking garage too, and without any mods, I don't really think I could upgrade this road unless I really kind of like use Move It and delete the nodes and replace it. But that can get kind of weird with the pathfinding sometimes. So I'd rather just leave this as a regular road for now. I guess people can park here. It's, it's fine, whatever. But yeah, the station looks good. I like this Japanese rail station. It really looks good with the area. Pretty modern. Same, it fits in well with these buildings from the shopping malls content creator pack. So I like that a lot. And I was kind of able to sneak, as you saw earlier, kind of sneak this under here, which I really like. So yeah, it works out. And then jumping over to, let's see, where else we going here? This station. Thanks to Move It, I was able to just bump out this, essentially all these buildings and these roads, just kind of bump them out a little bit to the right so that I could fit, this station in and have this track go pretty straight through here. So didn't need much work there. I think that looks pretty good. The station's actually pretty well detailed too. Like all of these little plants and bushes and this parking lot and things are all part of it. The only thing that I added was this row of bushes here. So yeah, I'm happy with that. This is a cool looking station, and it, again, fits in perfectly with this modern eco area here. And I think I might even bump these up to high density, this row of buildings here in the future. So because it's kind of looks out of place with these big buildings here, and then you have these like little buildings here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do that now because I've been kind of meaning to do that. Oh, I already did that, and they just didn't upgrade yet because I think I'm using. I don't remember if I'm using a mod or not for these, but I shouldn't be because these upgraded. So maybe they just need to work. Just wait to level up. Maybe if they level up, then it'll upgrade. Either way, I'll just wait and see what happens with these. But anyway, moving on to the next station over here, this elevated one. Again, just some really light detail work. Cool trees. These new birch trees are really nice. That came out in a recent patch. They just added these in. And I really like them in the latest free content update. So those are really cool. And yeah, just simple parking lot pathway for pedestrian access from a few different areas, and that's that. So I think that looks really good. I'm thinking about, since the game doesn't recognize, obviously I can't make crosswalks like right here. I might consider adding some sort of pedestrian bridge over this road so that people don't have to walk to here and then cross. They could cross, kind of somewhere like over here or something. But for now, it seems to be working okay, so can't complain. I mean, people can get out their car and walk, just a little bit over that way. It's not too far of a walk. So anyway, yeah, so that looks good there. And then finally, our final station is, and as you can see, look at that, we got another death wave kind of going through the city. It's sort of past. Actually, no, it didn't. No, it's definitely still there. Yep. All of the hearses are working overtime in the cemeteries. So, yep, this is fantastic. Gotta love the vanilla game with the massive amount of death waves going on here. But okay, anyway, the last station is this historic one, and as you can see, there is a town here now. So I went and built this little town real quick. I know I talked earlier about that transit-oriented development theory and everything, and how when you put access to a big public transit network like this that can get you between some pretty different and areas that are far between, have greater distances of travel. It kind of lends itself to developing some higher density areas around that little public transport hub. So kind of thought I'd try that out here and show that, like, okay, we got this nice little park in the middle, but around here a little bit higher density and some commercial for people to access right as they get off the train, but then it'll kind of bleed into some of the suburbs in the surrounding area. And it's like, I mean, people are actually using these networks, which is really cool. I haven't, I've built cities with trains and stuff, but I've never, I've played this game for a long time, and again, just haven't really spent a lot of focus on public transport and making sure everything flows in a realistic and, most importantly, an efficient way. So I think that these networks are placed in a good spot. I think that these stations are very effective with the areas. They're not super close. I don't have a ton of them. And of course, what I like about that is that I'm going to be able to use some different types of networks to connect some of these different areas of the city. Because obviously you can't drag a train line everywhere. So we're going to have to rely on some different public transit networks like these trams and these metros. And yeah, I'm super excited to get into those in the next couple of episodes. So thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to end the episode there. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do next. Either metros, trams, maybe even the monorail. I don't know yet. But either way, stay tuned. I will see you all in the next episode. And I hope you guys have a great week. Peace.